Hello everyone! Hello, hello!
Hello.
Welcome to the second video that we're making about the stuff we're building on the Lord of the Craft server. My name is Senda. Person in the background is Gotimore. Say hi.
Hi everyone.
Right, so on to bigger stuff than the last time we showed you our little township of Hayford. Now we're going to show you a big castle. It's Riven. The castle at Riven. It's our first commission actually. The previous castle was deemed not good enough. We're making a second one by order of the King and Godfrey himself. You can see me standing there right next to the little signpost that says Castle Riven. This was basically an exercise for us in taking the standard design of the keep that we have back at Hayford and turning that into a fledged castle, just to see if we could actually pull that off. Yeah, as you can see, it's a lot of the same design in different shapes. Take this gatehouse for instance. It's basically two towers next to each other with a gate in the middle. You can see here, we're walking underneath it, actually a slab of darker wood that you lower in place as a gate. It has a fence gate as well, but the main gate is actually a slab of dark wood that is lowered down. Talk more about that in a second. To the side here you can see the barracks, which is the smaller of the two bush structures that this castle has. And over here on the other side is the main keep with the awesome little balcony in the side entrance and the flags on top displaying Ser Uthor's colors. So, Ser Uthor is the knight in charge of Riven. Riven itself is supposed to be pretty much a hub, a central hub for knights in the Oran Empire. A lot of training will go on here, training of knights, training of men are stationed here. Hence the archery range and the fighting pits you can see. And other than that, it's just a central place basically for a lot of knights to gather. And, from here on out, get their orders, march out on campaigns and everything. So the entire castle needed to have a bit of an open feeling, a bit of an inviting feeling, and a bit of a sense of you walk into the castle and immediately it is quite clear what the purpose of everything is. So moving into the gatehouse, the two blocks of actually with the fence above it, leading all the way to the top, as you can see, simulates a counterweight that is suspended by a rope. And in the top, the block of smooth stone simulates a pulley with a crank on top of it. Wooden slab running all the way to the other side, indicating the entire gate mechanism. There's a lever on the other side as well, just on this side, as you'll see in a second. And the whole idea behind this is that this is a roleplay gate. You put two people at these levers, and as you can see in the screen right now, they're pushing the levers back and forth, and they'll put emotes in the chat stating that they're, winding the cranks or using the mechanisms to lower the gate into place, and then you'll have a third person down with a few blocks of wood actually putting the gate into place. You just roleplay that out. It's a bit of a, an extra incentive to roleplay. A lot of the castle is actually, by design, an incentive to roleplay. You'll see random people turning up here on a near daily basis, running into the castle going like, ooh, hey, an archery range. I'm just gonna stand here and shoot and practice a little bit. Just, out of nowhere. Interesting things like that. So moving into the barracks, as we just ran past the big table. This is the mess hall basically, with a kitchen in the back. A few crafting tables that simulate the places where you can, prepare the meat and put it onto plates and then serve it out on the table. To the side here, the captain's chamber. The captain is the only men-at-arms basically that has his own private room. All the other men-at-arms, as you'll see later on, are stacked together in bunk beds. Captain, a very spacious room, lots of bookshelves in there, because captain needs to keep the records, so plenty of room for that one. Moving up the stairs here, we're gonna go to the second level of the barracks, which is the housing area. You can see the spider coming up on that. A little bit of open space, and then to the left and the right, big rooms, basically. Just going to one on the side. Every room houses 4 separate men-at-arms. As you can see here, stationed in bunk beds. Every single man-at-arms has his own chest. What we really wanted to do with these rooms was give the sense of camaraderie feeling, a brotherhood feeling almost that you. Now, if you're a man at times, you're low on the list of priorities. Basically, you know, you're a foot soldier, you know, almost expendable if you want. Within the lower ranks, there's a sense of camaraderie, a sense of we're all in this together, and to really hammer that feeling of brothership home, we just said, well, you know what, we'll just put people in groups into a room. We'll not give every single guardsman his own room. Now, screw that. We'll put 4 of them in one room and let them, you know, work out that we're supposed to be in this together, all of us, the lower ranks. Right. Coming up on the towers, we did actually put towers on them, more for a defensive purpose than anything else, and besides it looks nice. You can see the chin stack over there that links into all the stuff down below where they cook and prepare the food, the kitchen, and the smooth stone slabs that they used for the roof. Onwards to more stuff. Going all the way down, both the keep and the barracks have a fairly large cellar in place because you need to store all sorts of items. In the case of the barracks, of course, to a certain degree weapons and equipment, but to a larger degree food, because the barracks is the main place where food is cooked in large quantities. A lot of this storage will be devoted to the actual storage of food items. Put some shelves in place, put some things in there. No doubt the actual residents of Riven will over time develop their own method of storing stuff. And as you can see, even down below there's still a passageway that conveniently leads to a room located underground, of course, roughly in between the keep and the barracks, that links the both of them together, or both of the cellars basically together, through these passageways leading into this main chamber. And you'll see that again when we're down in the main keep. For now though, going back up, have a look-see at more stuff. Go out into the courtyard. Have a look first at all the stuff that is in here. Note again the balcony. You'll see later on for a second as well where Sir Uthor can get up there and address all the knights or men-at-arms or whatever is assembled in the courtyard. But first, the archery range, as you can see, the 3 targets at the end. You can just put 3 people here side by side, have them plonking away at the targets over there. It's just interesting to have, you know, stuff like this, so you can put people here and actually role-play out entire training sessions. As you can see over there as well, Sir Uthor himself, in the blue coat, standing there. You can watch, taking a gander at what we're doing with this all crazy building stuff. Interesting note about these target dummies, they're not actually our design. I have to point this out. This is Magroka's own personal design for a target dummy. He saw what we did, he said that's not big enough. I want an imposing target dummy in my practice ranges. So he said, well, we'll go right ahead then. When we showed this to Uthor, Magroka insisted on asking, so what do you think of the dummies? And Uthor was like, I like them. And of course, you know, henceforth, Magroka will never ever let us live that down. And said, well, you know, you might have designed entire Riven Castle, but I contributed the target dummies, and don't you forget it. This room is the armory. Basically just a loaded chests where they store weapons and armor. Later on they'll add all sorts of equipment to it, like you know, an iron block so they can have an anvil there to repair the items. And an interesting note as well is that once we're up here again, you'll note that there's battlements all around. It's not a very thick wall, but then again it doesn't need to be a very thick wall. When you think about it, not a lot of walls out there will actually resist cannon fire to any degree, so you know, you can make a really big wall, but it doesn't really last very long. And especially from a roleplay perspective, it's more interesting to have a low wall where you can just put people on. As has been pointed out, people can hop onto those trees over there and start shooting at the people on the battlements. And again, this castle has a keep. You can put people up on a higher position and then snipe the people in the trees. So, you know, in the end, it kind of all evens out.
And it has its own natural defense, which is the water, and that the castle is built up on top of a platform.
I think it was Uthor himself that pointed out that people with the latest patch can't actually swim anymore through the water if they're wearing any kind of heavy armor, because they'll simply drown, which is interesting. And an interesting point out that I don't know how many people actually realize this, but the point in between the bit of roofing that you're standing on, the bit of fence that is part of the defenses, you can actually shoot through the gap. So there's a lot of points where you can shoot from in a castle like this. So yes, main audience chamber. We're inside the actual keep. It's a lot like the keep in Hayford, except it's bigger. It's a lot longer towards the rear. We just added in parts basically. And this is Uthor. Uthor is a higher ranking knight. He has a bigger keep, and therefore it needs to be bigger. So we just made everything slightly bigger. And we added in a viewing balcony. As you can see, I'm down there. Imagine, if you will, the sight of Uthor standing here gazing upon a dozen, maybe 2 dozen knights in formation. How awesome would that look? Giving an epic speech as they're about to go into battle. It's very much something that we wanted to do with this castle, is give everything not just a specific function, but make it enticing for people to abuse it to roleplay with. Which is an interesting challenge, because it's not very easy to do that. It sort of ties in with keeping it small and keeping it realistic, but in the end I think we got quite a few things in here that entice people to roleplay a little bit more. Going downstairs, you come upon the rooms. Reasonably simple in design, a bit like the ones in Hayford, except bigger because the castle is bigger. We put one room in for the servants in the castle, a bit like the soldiers, in that they're, you can put 4 people in one room here, because they're the servants, they don't, deserve a lot of their own space. There's 2 smaller rooms, and there's one very big room, which belongs to Ser Uthor himself. And going down, the cellar, again, like we said in the central keep, it's simply bigger. So as you can see, not 4 support beams, but 6, because it's bigger, it needs more support, otherwise the entire castle would cave in on itself. And as you can see, a little puppet, that is me standing by the door over there, indicating the passageway to the underground chamber that links the both cellars, both in the keep and the one in the barracks. Quite like interesting little rooms like this. Just, besides the fact you could put extra storage in there, it's a potential route to expand it a little bit, put in jail cells, stuff like that.
I say a relaxation lobby. And I shall not change my mind.
Put in a pool table. Yeah. So yeah, moving up and up and up, we get to the very top of the keep. You can see the flags in here that are, the color of Ser Uthor and his knights. And we'll just finish off this video with a wide panning shot. Just a wide panning shot of the entire castle, just take in how big it is. And yet how small, because in the end we still wanted it to be small.
You did a very good job at that.
So yeah, thank you all for watching.
Yeah, also I'd like to mention, today is Senna's birthday.
Woo!
Yes, he's a very old man.
Very old. 27. Can't believe I'm that old.
By the time you see this, his birthday would have been yesterday. Also, because I have to do this, I'd like to promote the music, which is by Topmass, because I don't like writing credits. It's too much work. So I'd like to say them. So the music's by Topmass. Check him out. He's really good. Later.
It's interesting. I find that there's different people within our community that do different things. Godium, of course, is recording stuff, but one of the other things that he does as well, which not a lot of people realize, is that he's the guy that searches for the music that we put underneath these things. And, you know, you walk up to Godimore and you're like, so, what kind of music do you come up with? And he'll have like this massive list of music. And where do you find this stuff? He's like, the internet, I guess.
I found this one by watching Captain Sparkles.
Yep.
And check you later, because we're going to be doing another one.
Oh yes. But we're gonna keep our mouth shut about that one. Of course, these are secrets.